Cities in the United Kingdom have government-provided support for sickle cell sufferers, and in the West Midlands, there is a support centre called Oscar Sandwell. Here, in Oscar Sandwell, there is a variety of support, advice and fun activities for sickle cell sufferers, their parents and siblings. This way, families can connect, share stories and feel less isolated from their communities. To discuss the importance of places like these, I talked to the manager of the centre.
Okay, my name is Rachel McPhee. I'm the centre manager for Oscar Sandwell. Okay, there are several organisations locally and regionally up and down the country that support sickle cell and thalassaemia. There are other Oscars. We are not under the same umbrella, so we are all individual organisations. We started at different times. For example, Oscar Birmingham last year celebrated their 40th anniversary. We are I think this is our 27th year. And there are organisations in Bristol, Nottingham, Wolverhampton, Bilston, all started at different times. But we all have the same mission, the same aim, and that is to support people with sickle cell and thalassaemia. We came about it different ways, but the majority of them started through the need of local people, so local families that were affected by the conditions, mainly sickle cell to start off with. And they saw a need for Sandwell. The need came about that local people, again, they saw the need, they came together as family members, and they were saying they needed a service provided for them. So came together, lobbied their local councillors and got funding from the council to start things off. That has carried on. I mean, that's something that we see the story up and down the country. The local people needed a service, so they came together, families came together and lobbied and started it off. For us now, currently 2015, we are supported by the local council. So our local council is Sandwell Metropolitan Borough Council, and we do get funding through them to provide some support for sickle cell and thalassaemia. We also get funding from the local authority and the NHS. So our local Sandwell and West Birmingham Clinical Commissioning Group. So we get funding through there as well. And that does help. It doesn't pay for everything, so we still have to do our own fundraising, and we do get donations, and we apply for grants as well.
Today happens to be a busy summer day with fun activities for the kids here. There's arts and crafts, kids running outside and playing hide and seek, and quite interestingly, there's a radio production session happening.
Hi, my name is Charmaine Baines. I am a freelance music and radio practitioner. I also pastoral support at a high school and sixth form college.
Why are you involved with Oscar Sandwell?
I'm involved with Oscar Sandwell because my daughter has sickle cell, and I delivered a project here last year. It was a music and radio project which I did with them, basically creating a information audio for Oscar Sandwell for them to use as the organisation. And they enjoyed the project so much they asked me to come here again this year.
As a parent with sickle cell, with a child with sickle cell, how have you managed now?
My daughter was diagnosed with sickle cell at 9 months old. She's nearly 24 now. We literally had to make sure that we gave her the correct treatment that we felt was suitable for her. I don't think every person with sickle cell is a textbook case. We lived in an area where there weren't many black people, and they didn't have much of an idea of what sickle cell was. We noticed that we tried to give her more of a natural way of dealing with her conditions. Yes, she had to have pain relief and certain medication that she did need, but we found that just enabling her body to deal with her condition as naturally as possible has helped so much. Now she's an adult, so she doesn't need so much medical intervention. She does have hydroxyurea. She knows how to manage her body. She knows what telltale signs will bring on a crisis. So she's well aware of her body, and which is what we try to do. So that enables her to have as much as a normal life as possible. So she works, she drives, she starts her nurse training in September. She has to be very careful. She knows she has to wrap up and drink plenty, but you know she hasn't, and we never made herself a victim of sickle cell. It's a condition that she has to deal with, but we try to give her as normal a childhood as we possibly could.
Also, in the centre, there is a sickle cell sufferer who works here. I have a conversation with him and find out how he has dealt with the disease over the years.
Well, basically, you know, when I was 1.5 years old, I was in the kitchen with my mum. You know, she had me on the floor and she was cooking, and then she just turned around and had a look at me and saw that I was kind of like moving around a bit different to other children. And then she took me to the children's hospital, where they diagnosed me with pneumonia and meningitis, which are both killer diseases. And that's where they found out I had sickle. I was in hospital for about 1.5 years. They had to draw water off my brain and do all of that kind of stuff. My mum was told by the doctors that I would never walk, I would never talk, I'd be blind, I'd basically be what they class as a cabbage. My mum knew about, well, she wasn't a Christian at the time, but she'd been growing up in a Christian household. So at that stage, all she could do was pray, obviously, that God would intervene and do something on my behalf, which he did do. I started to come around, and you know, one of the doctors was sort of like standing by my bedside, and he asked my mum, "Oh, Mrs. Dunkley, has Kevin started to see?" And my mum didn't say anything. So he held a red pencil up, and I reached for it, and he did a couple more tests and obviously found out that I could actually see at this time. And apparently he went down to his office, sat in one of these swivel chairs, and was just like really amazed, and he span around in the chair and says, "Oh, it's amazing, it's a miracle, it's amazing, it's a miracle." And then he went to my mum and says, "Mrs. Dunkley, I don't know what you've done, but would you like to come and work here?" And my mum just thought to herself, "Well, I didn't do anything, all I did was pray." Do you know what I mean? So obviously that was God intervening in that situation at the time.
And I asked him how sickle cell affects his daily life.
Well, because of my sickle, I was medically retired about 15 years ago, so I'm not working at the moment. However, even though it doesn't have an effect on my working life, it has an effect on my school, on my family life. In that I don't get to spend as much time with my children as I would like to. So they're sort of like missing out on the father-son bonding process, which is really hard and really difficult for both me and my sons to to come to terms with, because obviously you see fathers with their sons playing football in the park and doing all that kind of stuff, and you as a sick person wish that you could do the same, but unfortunately you can't. So it's just one of the things that you have to learn to cope with, and it's really difficult.
You've been medically retired for 15 years, so how do you make income? How do you support yourself?
Basically, I get disability benefits and also is it ISA? One of the benefits that they give. So it's government.
And how old are you now?
Sorry?
How old are you now?
I'm 46.
Places like Oscar Sandwell are created to make the lives of families of sickle cell just that much easier. Amazingly, there's a discovery that stem cell and bone marrow transplant is the only available cure for sickle cell. It does not change the blood genetic discomposition of the sickle cell sufferer, but the bone marrow transplant will make the life of the sufferer that much easier and healthier.